some reason my thing restarted, which is kind of on the annoying side. And then let me hide this one. And I literally had a section for just yeah, I had one for like teaching for like a section and like it disappeared. That's why it's taking me a while. I'm so sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's okay. You just tired. Don't worry.
Yeah. Doing my best. Okay. Let me go ahead and share screen. Pray to God this doesn't break or anything. Okay. Just to be on the safe side, let me also switch the audio to my headphones just so it doesn't freaking echo. And same with this thing here too. Change this to speakers. And it's there. Alright. So let me go ahead and welcome you guys all for our next session, our second session of Modals. So we are on our second session of Modals. I did go through an entire list of this last week. We did talk about this before, kind of expecting this class to be more of a intermediate course or an advanced course because we're looking at more of the modals. And again, if my music is loud for you, just lower down the volume. I tried my best to make it as low as possible. And let me see. Gosh. Alright. So, if you have any questions, please use the classroom A. That's where I can respond to everything. So Firestorm said, which are the modals? I just know might, may, and I think. Yeah, those are the ones, definitely, Firestorm. In terms of modals, there's actually a lot of them. It can be kind of overwhelming because there's just like a lot of words in English that you use for modals. So last week we did cover a little bit of ability, permission, request, offer, suggestion, and obligations. I think we just covered mostly like these 3 or 4. And basically we went over a list of them, and I'm probably gonna extend the list and make more of it later because I split all of them all together, and if needed I can just summarize very quickly about each one. So we're gonna go over the notes I made. This was last week's notes. So we looked at can and could, right? Can't, able to do something, so this is the first form. So the first form we looked at here was the ability. This one's the ability right here. Ability to do something, can, could, couldn't. So we showed that between the two of them, can and could, is past and present, which is their different forms, right? In terms of verb conjugations. But another thing about these modals is that by putting the past and present together or separating them, you're putting more distance from the past. And in a sense, I guess you could say that because of that distance in terms of past, and when you use it as a modal, it becomes more polite. Whereas using can is a little bit more informal, and some people argue that it can be very rude for someone to tell you, oh, can I sit here? Because it kind of sounds like, oh, you know me that well, even though you don't know me, you're like a stranger. So it can come off a little bit rude because it has something to do with your ability to do something. So that's what it is. Okay, and then could sounds more polite, so it sounds more formal, polite tone. Could I sit here versus can I sit here? Yeah. Firestorms, I'm sorry. Can you say again? Might is to learn for pronunciation. Yeah. So the word might. Say again, might. Yeah. So MAMIGHT, might. Yeah, no problem. The next one we looked at was can versus could versus may. And if I remember correctly, this is your permission, and my battery is low, so I have my little charger here, if anything. Go ahead and just plug it in. So can versus could versus may. For this one, can is informal, ability to do something again. Could is the same thing. But when you use it as a permission, may is actually the most polite form. Like, oh, may I sit here versus could I sit here and can I sit here? It's just the more polite version of saying it. You would use could and may for strangers. Can is more for friends. So may I use the bathroom? Yes, you may. You probably do hear people say, can I use the bathroom? The response from teachers who understand the grammar behind can would say, I don't know, can you? This response can be very snarky because it is very rude. It's questioning your ability to do something. That's why when teachers say, I don't know, can you? You have to think twice on using can as a question in modals. So Juan asked, what do you mean with polite tone? So polite means it's the way to say something. It doesn't particularly mean like the way I say it. So here's an example of what I mean. It's not the tone like saying, oh, please, can I go to blah, 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 blah. That's the tone I'm talking about when you talk, right? But when you say using this word, it gives off more of a polite thing to it. That's what I'm trying to say. So if I say, may I use the bathroom, please? It sounds more polite to say that versus I'm going to the bathroom in the middle of a lesson. So imagine you say that to me and I told you can't leave until you ask permission. That shows a lot of disrespect on my part because you decided to just walk out on me without asking how I feel about that, because that's disrupting the class, right? So that's what I mean by polite. It's asking for permission. Okay. So if you have more questions, go ahead and type them. Yes. So for Firestorm, May is more formal. Could is also formal too. Can is informal. Yeah, it's like a person with education. Exactly. So it's like, oh, you were raised with what's the word for it? You were raised with manners. That's what it is. Okay. So if let me see, we talked about this one. This is your permission. And like the ones before, request, can, could, would, and will. So this is your requests over here. I tried to break them down as much as I can, so with a lot of things you can look in here. So we'll first look at will and would because we've already covered can and could, right? So the difference between these two is will and would is a future statement and it's a past tense of will. So expectations versus you want to do this. That's basically what it means behind them. So looking at these examples I've written in our last session, auxiliary, modal, helping verb, and then you've got your main verb too. So I would do that if I were able to, can or could. So the next one, I would if I could. So this is a statement that everyone uses. And sometimes this is very difficult to explain to someone because if you don't live in an English-speaking country or if you have not interacted with someone who speaks English for a long duration, you probably cannot tell the difference between would and could. So, like I said, I did mention here, would is more of if you want to do this. It's more of the willingness. And if it helps, think of W. W kind of leans more towards want, right? Could means of ability, like I had the ability to do it. So that's the difference between these two. So I would if I could is definitely a conditional statement, which is what I wrote over here. More precisely, it's a second conditional because it's written in past tense form. And usually those with past tense, oh, I could if I would. The intentions behind past tense means that it's not possible. That's one of the rules for conditional. Yeah. I understand could like can, but in past. Yes, so for Juan, who mentioned that you understand could as the past version, the past tense of can, that's correct for one aspect only and one grammatical rule. Because you're looking at different tenses, that's one rule between the can and could. But if you're looking at it from a different grammar perspective, known as modals, can and could have different meanings. So that's a step higher to do it. So that's a good one. So Alex mentioned you could do it, but would you? That's another good one. So you could do it means you have the ability to do it. So with the statement I added for Alex, you could do it, but would you do it? That means you have the ability to act upon doing this, but do you want to? That is the actual translation of that statement. So these are things that you would only pick up if you know these cases. So in what cases would can replace, reemplace might, or replace might? Oh, might is related to can too. So in modals, might, okay, the difference between can and might, right? Might is a possibility, but can is ability to do something. So as you can see, might is, it's not for sure. Can is confirmed, you can do it, right? Can is showing ability to do something. Might is, do I want to do it? Or maybe, I don't know. That's what might is. So might is not really related to can at all. Might is maybe. So I'll get into that. So don't worry, guys. Chill for a second. I just want to make sure everyone's like got the understanding for this. So I guessed it versus I guess, past and present. So I will plus guess. The word is not an auxiliary. So this was a question I think someone asked me about. So these are just more examples of people asking me questions. I'll go back to the main points. Can versus could versus will versus would. So as you can see, I highlighted the main text for these. So can is ability, could is ability. It could also be, I forgot to write permission here. It's permission to. This one's also permission, but informal. Will is planned and expected. It's an expectation. Would is past conditionals, second conditional rule, and it's formal. These are often, yeah, they're listed here. Informal, formal, informal or formal, and formal. Let's see what they said here. So Juan said, can you do an example with might? Later on, Juan, because I haven't even gotten to might yet from the last session. So if you look over here, might isn't until the ending here, so I'll explain it later. So skydiving, could you or would you do it? There's the example of the could you, would you. I could do it, but I wouldn't. I already explained it here. I have the ability to go skydiving, but I don't want to because I'm scared of falling. So I will do this versus I would do this. So I will do this means it's expected to happen. I would do this means I want to. I would like to eat at a Korean barbecue restaurant, but I can't. So modals are the ones that technically change. An expression of interest, prefer, hate, love, you. Yeah. So I had so many notes here. All right, so that's a good example. So Juan here said, can you do an example with might? And Firestorm responded, I might help you if you pay me. And Juan wrote, thanks. That's excellent. So that's a very good example here. So that made me very happy to read that. Good job, Firestorm. You too, Juan. That's an excellent example of how to use modals. Yeah. So anyways, can, may versus shall. What section is this? can, may, shall. Okay, so we're here now. Offers. So I'll write it here. Okay. So you've got can, ability, may, permission, shall is permission. Shall is also the olden version of will, like I will do something like this, etc. Can I get that for you is very polite permission. May I get that for you is also polite. Can I get for you is a little bit more informal, but you can also read this in terms of informal situation. Like, for example, I've been asked this when I was going grocery shopping, and they saw my hands were full, so they tell me, oh, can I get that for you? So that expression basically means, can I open the door for you, or can I get that thing on the shelf for you? So in a way, it's a little bit informal. It can be a little bit intrusive depending on how you see it, but can is okay technically for me because it's more, I guess you could say it's more informal and colloquially accepted. But if you really, really want to be polite, you want to say may and shall. So that shows you have manners, I guess. But, you know, in general, people don't look down on you if you use the word can, because at least it shows you're trying to be considerate of their feelings. So it's not that bad. So let me see. So shall is more formal than may, right? So yeah, definitely shall is higher in terms of actually, it depends on how you use it, because, you know, shall is kind of used like will. But it's used, but in terms of auxiliary, it's being used as an offer. So, shall I get the door for you? It's saying, do I have your permission to open the door for you? Or in terms of will I get the door open for you? But no one says, will I get the door for you? They usually say, shall I? It means like, it's a combination of, can I get the door open for you in a few seconds or minutes or whatever. It's kind of weird to express it, I would say. So shall or will or should, too hard to understand. I shall do it. I will do it. So, depending on how you're looking at it, Alex, excellent questions there. When you said I shall do it, so let me write it here. I shall do it. I will do it. I should do it. So these are excellent questions here to point out. Notice looking at them carefully. I'll explain to you what I see in terms of how I translate it in my head. When you tell me I will do it, I'm expecting you to finish it. There's an expectation. Okay, does that make sense? So if you say I will do it, I'm expecting you to do it. It's a promise you guarantee to do in the future. I should do it is more suggestive. It's like, oh, I should. Yeah, I should do it. That's kind of like the feel. It's like you think, I know I have to do it. It's an obligation. Suggestive in an obligatory manner. It's like, yeah, I know I should do it. So you know you have obligations, so you have to do it that way. I shall do it. I shall do it is basically the same as will. I will do it. But it's like, it's just Old English, I would say. So people can use it interchangeably. I don't know. Someone can correct me if you guys have British experiences. I think they use shall to this day more than American English speakers, because the only time I ever hear shall is if they ask me, oh, shall I get the door for you? Like a question form in modal. Or I shall do it. It's kind of like politer to say, because I know if I watched a couple of Harry Potter movies, they say shall a lot. I shall. And I just think, oh, how cute. It's so British. But in terms of American, we don't really use shall as much. It's just usually in these kind of forms. We don't really extend shall in a lot of conversation, is what I mean to say. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. Yeah. So I would like that every English speaker talk like Hana. Do it, haha, I understand you all. Oh, thank you. I shall do exercises. So if you say that, Alex, that's excellent. You can do that. I remember my English teacher at school explained me those words with percent, I cannot say that word. Percentages to understand that. You mean percentages? I don't know if that's the right spelling or what you're looking for. Okay, cool. So yeah, I got it. So percentages, yeah. It could be a little bit like, I think the reason why your teacher used percentages could be because it gives you a clearer idea of how to apply it. That's my only reason why I think they taught you that way. That's my honest opinion on that. Let's see. Yeah. So as you can see, those are the ones for offers. Now we're gonna go back and look at our next one. So we've done this one already. I should probably erase that. So this one's done. Now we're looking at suggestion and advices. This is your should, ought to, and could. This one's kind of weird to me. So let me go ahead and make another page for this because this is a very long page already. We are on part 2. We are looking at, let me see the last one. Suggestion and advices. Oops. Sometimes I hate my tablet. So suggestions and advices here. What are we going to be looking at? We're going to look at these 3 words. Let's see. Should, ought to, and could. Should, ought to, and could. So here's the real question. Is there really a difference amongst these 3? So I told you a little bit about should. Should is an obligation. It appears a bit more polite when I hear it. So you should go to the doctor. So you kind of hear me telling you that, like, I'm requesting you kind of to go see a doctor. It's a little bit on the obligation, but it's more relaxed. So you have the decision to make, oh yeah, I should go to the doctor, but I just don't have the money right now. So notice how I use should in that sentence. I should go see the doctor, but I'm restricted by my finances that I can't go. So even though I know I have to or I must, the problem is I just don't have the money to go see a doctor right now, right? So it's not really restrictive. So let me put it here. Obligation, not restrictive. I'll probably rewrite this because my handwriting's trash. Restrictive. And then it's polite. So I'm not gonna play games tonight. I have too much work to do. Let me move could all the way over here. Okay, so polite. This is mostly used in, should could be used in formal situations, but it can also be used informally. You'll see why. Ought to is more, how should I say it? You ought to go to work. We don't really use ought too much because I feel like this is such an old word. I feel like British English probably uses this word more than us. But I do hear people say it in some parts of the US, say you ought to. Oh yeah, I oughta show you something. Yeah, I think it was like a 90s or early 2000 colloquial or collocative, we'll see, statement. Yeah, but I'll double check it for you guys because I know Modals is a pain in the butt. Where is it? I actually have a book for it in front of me right now. The reason why I'm looking it up is because I'm not very comfortable teaching ought to because it's such an old word that it's practically erased itself in California. in a lot of California speeches, I would say. The older generation still uses it. That's all I know. Um, for us, we just use should and could for the most part. That's how I would describe using that word in today's society. I don't know if other parts of the U.S. use it, like let's say New York or Massachusetts. Maybe it's still part of their language or vocabulary, and they still use it in their speech. That's the part I don't know. But in terms of what I do know in California, we don't use that. Except for like, yeah, my only exception is the older generation uses those words. It's not something I use, or not like not even my sister, my generation, or even Gen Z or below. I don't think they use that word like at all. That word like disappeared. Let me see. Ought to. I hate how this book like. This is terrible. I hate how this book just put it different places. OUGH. Nope. Nope, it's not mentioned in this book. So this is an intermediate book for my English language. Or one of my real jobs is in my real life jobs. It's teaching for ELA. I'm not going to tell you the acronyms because I don't want to be looked for. But there's a book we use called English for Everyone, which is the book, the pages here. That the ones you see here, this is from the book. I definitely recommend it as long as you do have some prior English experiences, and also if you have a teacher who can explain it for you, it's even better for you because it is focusing more on conversation English, I would say. And thank you, Juan. Yeah. Ought to is more, I would say it's more British. I'll just say this in quotations because I can't really confirm that yet. I need someone from British or Europe to tell me this. Hey, do you guys still use this word? But I think they do. But it's not so much here in California. Like I said earlier, and I don't want to repeat myself, but ought to, I guess the way you should, ought to is similar to should. So similar usage to should. I know a phrase for ought to. I used to watch Ed, and Eddie. I don't know if you guys know that TV show. I'll probably show you I'll show you a picture here. So I don't know if you guys know or remember. There was a TV show called Ed, and Eddie. It was a 90s show. And it still played around the early 2000s, so maybe these characters look familiar to you. Maybe they don't look familiar at all anymore. But I used to watch this when I was younger, and there was this guy here, the one with the red hat. His name's Kevin. Kevin always says, why I oughta. He always says that. Basically, when he uses that phrase, why I oughta, that means, well, I might as well show you. Like, he was basically asking to beat them up. He was looking to beat these three guys up because these were people who scammed them for like 25 cents every day. So that's the phrase I remember, is like why I oughta, is because of this guy, Kevin. So that's how I know it's an old word, because I don't hear people say why I oughta anymore. They would basically replace it with a new word. They would say you're cruising for a bruisin', which is it's a saying, an adage that we used to say this, which means you're looking for a fight. That's basically what it means. Why I oughta, it was never a completed phrase. It was left for the children who were watching it to fill in the line. But we already knew the way he presented himself in the show. He always rolled up his sleeves. His hands were always in the fist. You already knew he was ready for a fight. So when he says why I oughta, you already know he's looking for a fight. Basically, why I oughta means I want to show you that I could beat you up, in that sense where Kevin was saying it, and Ed, and Eddie. But why I oughta also means I want to show you something, but we don't know specifically what it is. It's a very vague phrase, so you need to understand what the context is used for. So especially if I say, why, I ought to show you how to do this right in English. So for me saying that, that means I should be the one who can definitely show you how to get this done correctly. So it's kind of like that phrase. I don't know if that makes sense for you guys, but that's kind of the feel or the meaning behind it that I get out of it. So that's how I perceive ought to. It's more like I want to show you something. And that phrase is actually pretty fitting. I want to show you something because it's a suggestion and it's an advice. So that works for it. And then the last one was could, right? So could, when you look at could, you already know it's a permission. It's a request, I think. Yeah, it's a request. There was a lot of things about could here. See, you got could for ability as well. You got permission, requests. So permission and request. And I think I forgot the last one. Was it again? Oh, ability. So this one again, it's polite. This one here, I feel like I ought to. It's supposed to be used, I feel like it's a little bit more on the informal side. Correct me if I'm wrong, but because I don't hear this word enough, I can't really say it's formal. It sounds more informal to me. Mainly because I can't stop thinking about Kevin saying, I oughta. Like, I oughta get you. Oh my god. I think he used to say, like, sorry, my train of thought is so hilarious at this time. I ought to show you a knuckle sandwich. That's what he used to say. It's so stupid. I'm so sorry. Now that I see, I think that I'm going to see more British reading from Harry Potter. I did a lot of the, I guess, reading and also for, what's it called? Watching the movie itself, because you can hear more from their accents and the way they use it. So it's a little bit more accurate if you use movies, if you'd like, just to hear how they talk. In terms of writing, you will definitely see British writings. Like, I remember I stopped and I said, organization? What the hell? How do you spell that? So, I'll give you this. This is the British way, by the way. This is American. So like that. So when I saw one that's like this, I was like, what the? Do they know how to spell? I even said that. And then this was before I knew about British English, okay? Sorry. So after I saw that, I was like, what the heck? It wasn't until I got older and I learned British English, and then I realized, okay, my younger self was just uneducated. I was so judgmental. It wasn't my fault. Sorry. So that's suggestions and advices. Should, ought to, and could. You would use it in that sense. I hope this was clear enough, because breaking them down earlier kind of helps you see that there's a consistency in how to apply them. So you're fine with that. Next, must and must not. Must and must not. This one is straight up obligation, as in you really don't have a choice. So let me write it here. Okay. So we have must and must not. So as you can see, must is the ultimate form of you have to. Basically. So this is obligation. Definite obligation for both of these. So no exceptions. And let me tell you why. If you've ever been in America, I might as well just show you it in picture. Notice this sign. This is a sign that's very common on the road, especially in the US. I don't know if British have this or Europeans have this sign Because I know in America we drive on the right side of the road, so you must turn right. So I don't know if it's the same in different countries where it says left lane must turn left, for example. Because if you look at these pictures carefully, I can tell this is America because the cars are all lined up on the right side. Most European cars they start on the left side. So incoming traffic. If I can show you another picture here too. So imagine this is a traffic, right? Traffic. So in America, this is a divider. The cars go this way on the right side. Left side, this is incoming traffic, outgoing traffic, sorry. Outgoing traffic, and I believe this is incoming. So this is what it looks like when cars are driving. So you would have a sign here that says right lane, and then must turn right. So this is where the sign would be ish. It's because you have to be on the right side of the road and you have to make that sign over there. Yeah. So you've got the sign. So yeah, basically exactly. So I like how Happy provided the signs. In most cases, I don't know if other countries or not countries. I don't know if other places have switched to that sign, but in terms of where I live, we still use the same sign. This is still the same sign we use today. This is a very accurate way to look at it. This is pretty funny. They say right lane must turn right, and then they have that. It's like, oh, can I make a right lane or not? That's so funny. Or we actually do use this sign here only. This is definitely American. So if you notice this, it does say UK. So I don't know if this is strictly for UK only, because I don't ever see a sign that looks like this in America.
It's the
International.
because you want the road signs to be everywhere you go, so you can recognize it, not just locally.
Hmm. Well, I don't know to be honest, because like I said, this is based off
Yeah,
my
so most of
city.
the country they have the international system,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how it looks. It just locally it will be in your local language what that sign mean, but internationally it's kind of the same. So
Okay.
80-90% all countries have the same stuff except some countries like USA.
Probably this one then, because I see this one in America.
Yeah, we have that also. It's forbidden to turn left
Yeah,
or
definitely.
right depending where it points. And if it's
Exactly.
bent down, it forbids you to
To
make
do
a
U-turn.
U-turn.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, thank you. So yeah, that's an excellent view for that. So I know around my city we still use the word for it. Some places still do have the sign to just turn right. The ones that you provided, Happy, the international signs. I know some places do that. It just depends where you go. I'm just saying from my experience, I don't really see that as often or frequent. We still have the sign that says you must turn right. But the reason why I'm saying that it's important to look at the word must means you have to. No exceptions. If you're on the right lane and you must turn right, you have to, or else you will get in trouble. You will hold traffic. You will cause an accident, etc. So that's why this is more of a mandatory for this sign. This one here for must not, forbidden, is the best word for it. So that means by no exceptions, you are not allowed to do this because it's the law. You just can't, right? So that's basically what obligation is for must, and a lot of people don't really use this word, not unless it's really, really important. Like, I guess you could say must is equivalent to law. Like it's the law. Don't break the law,
Uh,
right?
I need to tell you something. So the blue color, it represents the word that you just said, obligation.
Mm, interesting.
And
That's
the red one is forbidden. So
mm-hmm.
I saw you guys also have the red one. But in general, when you see black and red, especially the red one is forbidden to do that activity. When you see blue, it obligates you to go there. You don't have an option. So when it's a red, it's forbidden you to do that. You see, it's interdiction. Red, it's no, it's forbidden.
Yeah.
And the blue one means you obligated to go in that direction.
Mhm. So the signs I'm very used to in America are some things like this. We don't really have like the red circle over them.
Yeah.
Definitely these signs here. We have
Well,
these.
the red is forbidden interdiction.
Oh, this one, yeah,
You
I have
see
this
red,
one.
you need to stop. You need to not do that thing.
Yeah, this one means do not enter at all. Like don't.
Yeah,
Usually this
yeah,
one,
that's for vehicles. Yeah,
right? But for this one, usually, this one is accompanied by, those
an
tires.
exception.
It's more no. Like for me, the way I was gonna describe it was in at the beach. They would have this sign posted, and they actually have tire like these tire things at the bottom. Well, I don't know what you call them. They're little blades from the ground. So what happens is if
Yeah, I
you
know.
enter it, your tires will pop because you've entered it the wrong place. Um, so yeah, and of course this one's okay.
Like a warning sign.
Right. It is a warning sign, but I mean that's not what I was trying to say though.
You say on the road on asphalt, you have something that will destroy the tire
Yeah, the little blades or teeth, whatever you want to
because
call them.
people ignore the signs. So yeah.
Yeah. So literally, it's just okay. You blew your tire, you got in trouble. You've been caught red-handed. So I do see that at the beach here because a lot of people like to park illegally. So if you don't listen to the sign, then there goes your tires, and they do that on purpose just so you can get caught or pay more unnecessary fundings or whatever. So yeah, that's about that. That's obligation, and we're finally at the last part where everyone's asking me about might. So now, what is might? Right? Let's see. Let's talk about these can't, could, might, may, and must. They call it logical deductions. There's another names that they put for it, and I'll explain that to you in a second. So what were the words again? Can't, could, might, may. Oh, not this one. I guess could work. I guess. I can see that. And the last word was must. Okay. Now we've come full circle, kind of. So, logical deductions, what is this? The other word for it is probability. It depends on your book. They call it different things. Logical deduction. So, logical deduction basically means based on your points, you can logically make a statement out of it. So, for example, here's an example that my friends used that, and it's called logical deduction. Well, sorry, you get what I mean. So in school, when I was in university, during my first year, everyone knew me as a girl who wore a yellow hoodie from Long Beach. And basically, I don't know if it's available. I want to see if I can find a picture for you guys. Yellow hoodie. Well, I mean, it's kind of, yeah. She wore the exact same clothes as me. This is so, yeah. Let's just pretend it's this one, right? It's close enough. This is like, for example, everyone knew me because there was this, I wore this hoodie. It was yellow. It had black text on it that said Cal State Long Beach. I actually do have, actually, it's CSULB on it. And it's my favorite one because it's kind of warm. It keeps the heat in, and of course I was purchasing it because giving back to my community. Because whatever you spend at the store, it goes back to the school and education, so it's funding classes again. So I did that. It's literally this shirt, except it's yellow. Okay, and basically everyone knew me because I wore the same hoodie almost every single week. So when people saw me not wear the hoodie, they always said, "Oh, who are you?" They joke with me about that because I always wear hoodies to school. I always wore jogging pants, and I always wore like a lot of like active wear when I was in school because the ultimate goal is you to look comfortable, right? So in any case, my friend believes he saw me. So he saw a person in a cafe. She was wearing a yellow hoodie. She wore flip flops like I did, and she wore like I think she wore sports active wear, and it's black as well. So that's usually how I look like in school. Pretty funny. Um, I guess I can show you guys a picture, like as an example elsewhere, because I actually need to find it. And basically, she was working on her laptop, and my friend thought it was me. So what he thought was he went up to her and he hugged her, and he was like, "Hey Hannah, what's up, how are you doing?" And then when she looked at him, he looked back at her startled. He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I thought you were my friend." And that's basically how it was. So when he came back and talked to his friends, he was like, it must have been Hannah. Like, I thought it was Hannah. It could have been. I mean, not could have. It must be because that's how she looks like. And later on, when I met up with him, he was telling me, "Oh my God, I hugged a person. I thought it was you." I'm like, "Why?" I'm like, "How do I look like her?" And he's like, "She wore a yellow hoodie and she wore black like activewear clothes and she wore flip flops." I'm like, "It's exactly like you." And I was like, "Oh man, if only I could see her." And then we actually saw her. She sat down, and then he was like, "Oh, that's actually her." And I looked. I'm like, "Oh I was like, "It is me." She looks like me. So I do have a picture, and I just have to pull it up. And I'm sorry.
Maybe she saw you and you inspired her to dress like that.
I probably did, which is so funny. So, like, I don't know if it shows my picture here. Oh no, that's not it. I always wear the same outfit over.
Well, I love hoodies by the way, but not that available here. And those they are very boring. And I mean, wearing a yellow one, hell yeah.
Right?
I like it. Yeah.
So here you go. I actually have a picture of me. Let me put it here. Can everyone see that?
Oh, nice.
So this is me on the left. So
Nice, nice.
that's what I always wore. That's why everyone was like, "Oh my God, it has to be you." Blah blah blah.
Without the flip flops, that's a huge no-no here. You do not want to go unless you go from your apartment building and you go across the street and you have like a grocery store like I have in the night. Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah,
You local. Otherwise, you don't do that.
that's
That's a
funny.
huge no-no for us.
That's so interesting. Yeah, because I know standards are people find it strange if you wear active wear, but as you can see, I'm wearing actually black jogging pants, or not jogging pants. These are like active wear, so it's very tight
Yeah,
fitting
I
material.
know, I know. I thought this is a huge cultural difference. So if you go outside of your apartment building to throw away the trash or go to the grocery store that it's next to, like, just crossing the street, yeah,
Hmm.
sure, you could go like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people are gonna look at you very weird. Like, why you dress like that?
I'm pretty sure if I were to visit a country, I wouldn't
Because we
care.
dress like that when we not dress, sorry, wearing those shoes, those flip flops when you're home or you go to the pool or
Hmm.
something like that.
Yeah,
It's indoor stuff or
that's
around the house.
it is definitely. But in terms of America, we do dress like that. That is
I
the
know, I
ultimate.
know. I have a lot of American friends. I know.
It's crazy, right? All right. So going back to the subject. So that's how logical deductions was being used was the word must. It couldn't be anyone else. So my friend said right here, it couldn't be anyone else. It must be Hannah. So this is what he actually said to me. The logical deduction here is that it couldn't be anyone else. It's because he knew the way I dressed. He was very familiar with how I dress myself in school. So I'm always wearing that yellow hoodie with those, either like jeggings or I wear or activewear again, like I said. So that's
In
why his
school, will not
deduction.
allow you to.
What's up?
In school, will not allow you to. We'll send you home if you come with the flip flops.
I would say that really sucks in your country. It's ridiculously comfortable. I'm so
No.
sorry. You miss out on the comfortability factor. Um, because I think what happens is because it's an active wear for the flip flops, it's so common for basketball players to wear that because they're saving their shoes for, you know, playing basketball. So they come to school wearing flip flops and they pack their shoes in their bags. So it's definitely a thing here that we do wear flip flops to school. It's very comfortable. So yeah, that's why in going back to the subject here, it couldn't be anyone else. It must be Hana. Because the logical deduction is there was no one else who dresses up the way she did, like me. So just like what Happy said, maybe she copied me. So that's a logical deduction. Okay, so for it can't, this could also be substituted is it can't, right? So it can't or couldn't. It can't be anyone else. It must be Hana. It couldn't be anyone else. It must be Hana. So either or they were okay. So can't definitely means it's not possible. Okay, so can't is no, it's not possible. That's a logical deduction. It's like you're confirming that it's not possible, that this whatever the statement is, like it's not possible. So in my example, what my friend was saying is that there's no one else who dresses like me, like that. So for him to go up and hug her, he made the deduction that it was me. So that's the story behind that. May, might, and could, all of this have probability screaming at you here. So, probability, this is pretty important. And if you need the percentage example, 50%. Okay? So when someone says, I may go to the party tonight, that means, perhaps, there's a chance that I will go. So that's why it's a 50-50 or 50%, right? So may also has that factor too. So may, might, and could, they all have that feeling of probability. Well, I could go, but we'll see. That means I have the ability to go, but do I want to? Or do I have the motivations to go? That's the probability behind that. Might is the same, may is the same. I may go, but I don't know. So that's an example of that. Same with might. I might go, but we'll see. That's usually the phrase people say here. So automatically this is screaming maybe. Yeah. Sorry, Happy, but those shoes are so gross to look at.
They are actually very comfortable and
I
prevent you from
know.
sleeping and having an accident.
Yeah, but still, but in terms of our taste here, no, that looks like grandpa shoes. I'm sorry, those are grandpa shoes. So like, oh my god, what's the name of it? Just do it flip flops. Oh, Nike. There we go. So this is the Nikes I own. I actually have this one. This is what I wear every day to school. It's so ridiculously comfortable. That's why I wear it, because it's so nice. I walk for like in my campus, I walk 30 minutes from my car to my classroom because it's located from, so imagine my parking is in the south area. My classes are in the north. So there's no parking at all for the north area because that's all for teachers only and administrators. So I can't park anywhere there. So I have to walk from my car to the building about 30 minutes if I was slow, but if I was speed walking, I'd probably get there in 20 minutes. But yeah, these are the kind of shoes I would wear, and it was in my picture too. That's a little bit about me in terms of school. If I went back to school, I would still dress like that, honestly, because it's so comfortable. And it depends too, because I probably would dress up a little bit more too. So what else here? Let me finish this up because this is the end of our lesson. Again, must here. So see how must is being used here? It means it has to be 100%. So this is absolute. So when I say the word absolute means there's no other answer. So as you can see, using the word must, it's like it's absolute, like it must be her, or it must be this, because it has to be nothing else but that. Like, for example, if I showed you, let's say this one. You can post all you want happy, but those are still ugly shoes in my opinion. Yeah. So, like I said here, we could argue and look at this. Oh my god, who made sushi pizza? Salmon pizza? That's crazy. We could probably look at this and we could argue. So let's say you're not very familiar with sushi. What kind of fish would you say these are, right? So because I do know my sushis and my fish, because I eat so much from there, I would tell you this pink one over here, it must be tuna, because tuna is that color, and this yellow or orange one here, that's salmon. It must be salmon, because this is basing off my experience eating these kind of food all the time, right? So because of that, then that makes it, because of that, I'm guaranteeing that this must be the fishes that I claimed it is, because it's based off my experience. Mind you, you can say must, as long as it's something that you truly believe in, right? Because there can be cases where you say, oh, you must turn right here, or like for example, let me see a different one. Let's say I think it's squid. For example, if I say it must be squid, and someone who knows sushi tells me, no, that's not squid, that's tuna. I can show you what tuna looks like, and they show it to me, right? So even though I said must, and it has to be absolutely like what you believe in or whatever I described it to be, you can be completely wrong by saying the word must, and that doesn't affect it. So using the word must does not affect whether it is actually truly true or false, you know? You're just saying it based on your belief. That's how you use must. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's how you would use must. It doesn't matter whether you're correct or wrong about it. It's just how you feel about it. Also, those slippers. How is that any different, Happy? That's slippers.
That was a trap for you.
I'm like, sure, yeah, like how is that any different from slippers? I can tell by just looking at it. I'm like, you can wear that to my school. It's fine. Yeah, that's about it. So I think.
Well, so sandals are okay, flip flops are not, or
like,
slippers or whatever.
I'm shaking my head.
I know.
Because that's literally flip flops. It's just the design is different. That's ridiculous.
No, that was not okay. I was just thinking that's something local for you.
Local for me? Kind of. It really depends. Like, I'll show you, like... I know it's the end of class. Oh, flip-flops.
So this will be accepted, the one that I posted now. The other one, not really.
I think you guys are just so... Your place is so picky with shoes. It's ridiculous. See, like, even this one is okay here. We wear that. This one's okay. This is something my grandma wears. So you can see the different designs of how we wear shoes here. Yeah, like that. This one has a little pump here. A little bit of a height. It's like half a height. But yeah, these are all shoes that are acceptable to wear here. See, there's even the shoes that you suggested. Like some people do.
I know.
Yeah. Look, gladiators. Would your school accept that?
Jesus. It doesn't matter how the girl dressed, it's fine for me.
But would your school accept that? That's my question.
Well, depending, probably no, because they expect more kids to behave more in a business type of
that's why. Okay.
dressing code.
I see what you're saying.
So no, the thing is how some guys are dressing with you see their underwear and stuff like that. No, that's not allowed. That's not okay.
I see. So yeah, excellent. So thank you for sharing that with me. Here, as much as I've seen people wear these, they're called gladiators for a reason, because they're mimicking, you know, the Romans' weaponry. Some people call it Roman sandals, as you can see here. Party City calls it Roman sandals. From my guess, though, this is based off. Party City is a costume shop. You should actually see. You should actually really see gladiators. Women wear these like crazy. These are what women wear, like that.
The one below, I like it. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, these are actually really ridiculous to wear because in the back here, you probably won't see it. This is a zipper, actually.
Yeah, I understand what you try to say. It's uncomfortable. Yeah, I know.
It's ridiculous.
But the blue look is the black one. Stop, stop, stop. Scroll a little bit.
Hmm?
In the center, to the right, the black one. Yeah, that one. That I think looks nice.
Yeah. That one's cute because it reminds me of ballet flats or ballets because when you have long
I
legs.
know so many
Yeah.
things. Just for me as a guy, it's too much.
Yeah.
For me, it's just shoes and sport shoes. That's it.
Exactly. But yeah, this
It's
is
simple.
crazy styles we have here. But yeah, that's all I wanted to share. I want to see anything here. So Firestorm says, "Do you have some text about shall and ought to?" I don't have any. What do you mean by text? Like practices?
You cannot join the classroom no more.
Who?
Firestorm.
Oh, okay. Let me tell him. What do you mean?
So probably he is referring to the document that you was sharing.
Oh, okay.
If you want to share all that thing, you send it to me and I cut it and post only that page if you want.
Oh, it's okay. It's good because there's a setting here that's export, and I can export it, so we should be good. Thank you, though. Yeah, I'll send it later. So yeah, there's that, and then the last question answering here, Juan says, "Really, anyone wears that there?" My answer, yes. For women in California, yes, we do. It's pretty insane.
Americans.
Yes. Yeah, don't say say no more. See, like this. It's insane how we wear these. Look, it's a fashion statement. It really is. I actually would wear something like this. This is really cute. That's my style. I like the dainty shoes. Yeah. Kind of like that too. I cannot imagine people just wearing it for long periods just because it's too constricting, I would say. Like if you were gonna run, why would you wear that? I would see it at Coachella or something. Coachella's fun. Yeah. Juan said OMG. Yeah. So definitely we do wear them in certain locations. And a definition or example? It's in my notes, bro. I'll post more about it next time though. For those who are actually interested to know, let me actually pull up something for you guys. Let's see. I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can get it though.
Well, if it's a PDF file, I could deal with it.
Well, yeah, because you can get this as a PDF file. This is from Amazon. So here it says you can get it as a PDF. Well, not PDF, sorry, Kindle. It's a Kindle file. So for me, I purchased this book, which is where I got all of these contents from. These books are actually pretty good. I actually do have this book. I have this one for my Kindle because I am teaching a beginner English speaker.
Can you please send me the link so I could find alternatives, the PDF alternative for it?
Go ahead. You can try to look for it.
No, the list where was all the.
Which one?
Yeah, this one, this list,
This
where
one?
it says English for everybody. Ref, yeah, copy the link and send it to me in private, and I will see what I can do about it.
Okay, let's see if they do have any. Because it would be very useful to have these books, most definitely.
I will look for the alternatives.
Yeah. For me, I just use the online one, and since because I teach a lot of you guys, I just bought the basic one, which is the English grammar. This one, it covers all topics you could ever look for, so I'll actually show you what it looks like here. I can't show you the whole book because technically that would be breach of agreement, I guess.
It's okay, no problem. It's
Yeah.
fine.
So here, I can show you the contents but it doesn't go into deep details. That's the biggest factor for buying this book. That means you have to have a really good English already. But if you really want a book that's accommodating to your level, you should really consider buying like level 1 beginner. There's a vocabulary builder here. There's beginners level 2. There's intermediate, which I own this book, and I also have the advanced book, this one. So these ones would be teaching like modals, etc. I definitely do recommend them because they are good books as long as you have someone who can help you with it, or if you have prior English skills, then these are good books because they can help you like get to places you need to go. Yeah. So I don't buy anything Amazon because it's very expensive. I understand, yeah. So by sending to my country, could you send us the link? Yeah, I can send you the link for it. But try to look in your stores. Maybe they sell it cheaper because, like I said, Amazon is expensive. Maybe in some countries. For me, it's affordable. But yeah, I would recommend I can't even talk anymore. Trying to find these books. Yeah, you're welcome. These are pretty good books, I would say. I can show you one thing though. I guess the first couple pages is fine. For this first one. And I'm not getting a sponsorship, by the way. This is just me reviewing it as a teacher from my stream. These are pretty good because here they have a theme going. You follow a theme. They give you different practices. You have writing. You have a listening activity. You have to spell your name and then spell other people's names, etc. So it's like they have a lot of activities for you to practice. The only thing that's missing here is speaking. So you won't have the chance to speak not unless you're speaking out loud or you're talking to someone who's a native speaker. So that's like the only time you can ever speak. But this book is definitely good for grammar, listening skills, and writing. So I do recommend.
Problem solved.
Yeah, you found it?
Don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah. All right. So sounds good. Does anyone have any other questions before I let you guys go? Yeah. I wanted to stay longer, but it's just I'm actually really tired and I also have work to do. So I'm hoping to get these out of the way because final exam starts next week for me. So I don't know if I'll be able to host class next week just because I have so much work to do. But I'll let you guys know if I'm canceling or not.
So I'm gonna make sure I have a collection of some of them, and I will use WeTransfer. The link will be valid for 1 week, so I will send you the link because I cannot post it on Discord because Discord doesn't allow more than 8 megabytes.
I see.
So I'm gonna make a folder with a collection of the PDF files and upload it using WeTransfer. I will send you the link and you could download it and take a look if it's the right stuff.
Okay.
Tonight or tomorrow morning or whatever.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, Happy. And yeah, no
You're
problem, Juan. Thank you for coming in. Alex, thanks for coming. And also Firestorm too. I don't know if he's here. Firestorm a ton, thank you. Thanks for coming to class. So this video hopefully will be uploaded ASAP. And I will post it in the in the English videos. Yeah.
Can I share screen now if you finish the class?
Yep. So let me go ahead and close the window then. Thank you guys again. So let me go ahead.
So I could show you guys